Yo, what is going on, people? Welcome to Throwdown Your Questions, episode 369. I'm your host, Tony Polanco, and tonight I'm joined by Emilio Lopez.
What's up, people? How's it going?
Carlos Romero.
Yo, yo, yo.
And Adam Vale.
Yeah, how you doing?
All right, we got the Latinos in the house. I don't know where everybody else is at, you know.
Yo man, it's a full on camera for us, son.
Yeah, right. Yeah, we all. Yeah, exactly, man. You know,
we got the Latino heat.
Yeah, man, we got the fucking la raza. We got the Mangu brothers and shit. You know, yeah, that's it. Yo, Carlos, we got it.
Last night.
Carlos, when you come to New York, Mangu and Mofongo, we got to get you right, bro. We got to get you right. That good Dominican, Puerto Rican stuff, you know.
Get that chicharrón de pollo.
Yeah.
Gotta have something there.
Yeah, I forgot who I was talking to about that. It's like, yo, man, you motherfuckers, all you do is just eat plantains, man. Oh man, we got so many versions of that shit, you know.
Well, you know the funny thing about that, there was I think it was like the MLB All-Star game.
Yeah.
And there's a Dominican player. It's like they're introducing the players, and Dominican player just bust out a freaking plantain.
Of course.
And it's like, well, for people that don't know what's up, it's like that shit looks suspicious as fuck, but it's a Dominican thing.
Yeah. No, but the thing is that like there's some countries in Africa that fuck with it too, you know? Mm-hmm. Like you know K-Cube, right? He was showing me how he fries up plátanos. I'm like, "What? You motherfuckers got that shit?" Excuse me?
Oh, yeah.
You know,
well, I mean, to be honest, a lot of that stuff is, you know, it's part of African culture.
That's right. Yeah, yeah.
You know, most of South America is all mixed up with the, you know, with the black folks that came over there, you know, during the slavery times, and you know the white, you know, the people. So we're all a bunch of mixed up people. So our food, our culture is all sort of, you know, derives from a bunch of different locations.
I have a potentially stupid question.
Oh.
Not controversial, just like I may be dumb. So did plátanos come here from Africa, or they just grow in different places? Or is that how it is? Carlos?
Fruits, I think for sure. Like, for example, pineapples are completely a Caribbean thing.
Yeah.
It came from the
same
Caribbean.
thing with
Yeah, and I know tomatoes are like a New World thing, right?
Yes, tomatoes are a New World thing. Potatoes are a New World thing.
Yeah.
Think about it. Ireland didn't have potatoes before.
Think about that. Like that, they're like associated with potatoes. Same thing with Italians, right? Associated with tomatoes. They didn't have that shit before 1492. So plantains came from Africa.
I'll Google it, but
Google
I'm pretty sure
because if it did, that would make total fucking sense. Think about the slave trade and all that makes perfect sense, you know. But either way, and if that's the case, yeah, man. You know, plátanos are the shit. Like if I always said if I ever became like allergic to plátanos, I'd just commit suicide. Like I can't live without that. Like, and there's so many ways. You boil it, you fry them up, you bake them, you mash them up. You know,
just gotta make sure you get the right one. Some people are like, oh, it's just bananas. No, it's green.
No. Yeah, green bananas.
No.
Yeah, very gotta be
bananas.
Well, because in general, you know that the plátanos are not sweet. They're not sweet at all compared to. In fact,
you gotta let them. You gotta let them become that over time. You know.
In fact, and the other thing is, in fact, the sweet banana is actually the mutant.
Yeah, which is interesting, right?
The normal plantain is actually, well, a version of the plantain is the original version of it, and it's been bred to be sweet.
Yo, man, you trying to tell me bananas are mutants like Xavier?
Oh yeah, I mean they bred those things. They bred them to be sweet. Bred, you know, and in fact, like there was I can't remember when this was, but during at one point there was a huge famine between the strains of bananas.
Oh shit!
And there used to actually be multiple kinds of bananas out on the market, but because this horrible disease, this plant disease had happened, killed off a bunch of the different strains, and we're only really left with one specific kind.
That's wild. Hey, Brett. Let's see if he says anything. Yeah, the show's already started, but we're giving the history of plantains.
Yeah.
You know, because
we actually don't have the kind of bananas that they used to have.
Yeah,
I think, yeah.
Oh, yeah. They were scary looking, the old school bananas.
By the way, Brett, we did mention the Irish because we were talking about how some of the New World foods are like, you know, associated with like Europeans, but like in some cases, like think about it. Irish people associated with potatoes. Potatoes are a New World thing. Italians associated with tomatoes. Tomatoes are a New World thing. So it's kind of interesting how that works, you know?
Actually, it's kind of a funny anecdote. I'm mostly sure it's true, but
No.
apparently, during the famines in Ireland, when before the potato famines, because they had a bunch of famines. That's just Ireland, that's how they roll. So basically, they were having trouble getting people to eat anything, and they found potatoes to be hearty stock and everything like that. So they tried to get the people to basically eat potatoes, and nobody really wanted to eat them because they were considered livestock food at the time.
Yeah.
So they kind of made a special, so the king,
the king was the one that started eating it. Yeah. And
made a special walled garden, very publicly posted guards in his private garden to make sure that nobody, ate the things that were posted there, and then they just let people sneak in and steal the potatoes until it caught on.
Because they started seeing that he was eating. Well, they made it look like he was eating, but he had that garden full of potatoes, and we're like, well, if he's doing it, then I guess we should be doing it.
Yep. Yeah. It's just kind of a loving thing about the Irish, about like how they're just so stubborn. They're like, eat potatoes. We'd rather die. All right, I'm gonna eat the potatoes. Well, I want some.
Exactly.
He's having it. Maybe I should try it too. You boil the motherfuckers up. All right, let me try that.
That's some meme culture right there.
Yeah.
before the internet.
Yo, man, you trying to tell me if you slice these motherfuckers into little sticks and you fry them up, they taste good? I wonder when French fries invented. It must have been 20th century, right? Like,
probably weren't in France either.
Not really.
Yeah, they're not. Yeah, French. Fuck that.
No,
like, just fries.
They're not French. That style of cutting and frying is known as French cut.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they were French cut potatoes.
But were they exist before the 20th century? I'm curious about that.
Oh yeah, I mean, they people have been frying potatoes since they've been eating potatoes.
Yeah. I wonder if they cut them like that, though. I'm trying to know the specific origin of the French fry, French cut fry.
I would look back to French cut because I'm sure people were French cutting and frying them.
Yeah, this is the culinary throwdown right now, man. We're getting busy.
By the way, Southeast Asia is what I'm seeing the most for
platanos.
plantains.
Interesting. Yeah, I wonder if they were just native in the Caribbean or not. Yeah, again, it could be just a thing where they're everywhere. What about corn? Did they have corn? Yeah,
corn is
New World.
That's New World too, right? Yeah, we got a lot of shit in the New World, man.
Avocados.
Yeah.
Chocolate.
Yo, corn is fucking like to Mexicans what plátanos is to Caribbeans. It's like, yo, we could do a lot of things with this, man.
Oh yeah, corn is an everyday thing.
Yeah. Like, what can you do with corn? What can't you do, bro?
Yeah.
Digest it.
You can sweeten up your drinks with that corn.
Yeah, right?
Oh yeah, there's rice drinks. Horchata.
Yeah, oh shit. Let's go, man. All right.
Corn's a mutation.
Yeah. There's a lot of we're talking about that. There's like a lot of mutations in our food,
We eat so much corn that we eat the fucking fungus from the corn as well.
Oh man, yeah, a lot of stuff shouldn't be having corn, but it tastes good, man. It tastes good. All right, remember when they used to call it maize, like maíz, motherfucker? like maize, maíz, man. It's right there. Jesus.
Yo, man, there's the maize and the maze.
Yeah.
Like,
by the way,
Morales.
Yeah. By the way, Carlos, you'll feel me on this, man. Nieces and nephew were over, right? And they wanted to watch a movie on Disney Plus. I'm like, what do you want to watch? Little girl literally goes to me, Encanto. I'm like, no. In this house, you pronounce it correctly. Encanto. Say it, And I didn't let her watch the movie until she said it right. Fuck that,
Nice. That's how it's supposed to go.
You got to teach it right, man. Can't be no Encanto.
Yeah, it's like I just told him, like,
I don't know.
Yeah, go ahead.
What makes you guys think that people are ever going to say shit right? I mean, that's a proud American heritage.
Yeah.
But being like Encanto, no, Encanto, that's good enough.
No, but I'm like she's Hispanic, like it's in her blood.
She should know better.
And I don't give a fuck if she's 4 years old.
Yo, man. Yo, man, if they can push down that it's not Shang-Chi, it's Shang-Chi, it's Encanto, not Encanto.
My man, I got it. I just told how I tricked her. I'm like, say it in Spanish. It's like, and then she said it right. I'm like, okay, I'll accept that. It's like, and then she was like, how do you say it in English? I'm like, don't don't do it.
Well, it's one thing, like mispronouncing something is fine, but mispronouncing it the way that Encanto and Encanto just sound, it just sounds offensive to me.
Yeah,
it's
man.
like a curse. Yo, man, Encanto.
Yeah, Encanto, motherfucker.
Yeah, take that shit.
I remember go ahead.
I think karate would like a word.
Yeah, right. Karate, you know, or when my older
karaoke.
Oh shit,
Karaoke.
You know. Hey, yo, we can go off on this Naruto. What's it, Naruto?
Naruto.
Carlos, you notice how I did think about it. Wait, how do they say it again?
How do you get a motherfucker's name wrong when they say it in the show?
Even in the dub, when they say it right, you know. I think a couple characters do say it wrong, though. You know.
Because they don't know. They're like, I can't.
Because they're in a separate, recording booth. They're not listening to the other guys.
They weren't listening to the other guy. And nobody in the voice department says, "Hey, it's Naruto." Or
I have no idea how the last Airbender movie got made, and they pronounced all the names wrong.
Oh, you always
like based off another thing, right? Have you never fucking seen it?
Brett, you know what I like when people pronounce the same name different ways within the same movie and shows. Like, how are you pulling this off? This is amazing.
You mean like how in Street Fighter they say Ryu a bunch of different ways?
Yeah.
Ryu.
Like what? Is it pronounced Uncanto? Oh man.
Encanto.
Yeah.
There we go.
Also reminds me of this one time. She did this shit on purpose. My oldest niece. She was like, "Oh, I'm having some roast." I'm like, "What?" Oh. No, you say that shit right in my house.
That's some PS4 Miles Morales type shit right
there. Right. Yeah. By the way, shout out to Chris who just rolled up.
Yo.
Chris also enjoys himself some good plantains, man.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
his mom makes it really great.
Yeah, man. Yeah, because Chris is Caribbean too, so he knows, man.
And it's funny. It's like in Jamaica, they slice it long ways. So they slice the whole plantain down long strips, And then I've seen it, but I think Puerto Rico, they cut it up, right?
Yeah, it's like, dice it. That's how we do it too.
It's like a wedge.
Yeah, it's like a wedge, yeah.
Yeah.
I've had it both ways. I mean, it's still delicious. Doesn't matter.
Yeah. All right, man. Let us get it's Encanto, mighty nerd. He's asking. Encanto. There you go. All right, let's get into it. We got questions tonight. All right. First up, by the way, first couple of questions all have the same theme. All right. First one, and Chris, I'm glad you're here for some of these, man. All right. Would anyone be surprised if Sony buys Capcom? Yes, because Japanese companies don't buy each other; they merge.
Yes.
So
absolutely.
Yeah. Go ahead.
So like we've seen, Square has done this. Square's done a few mergers.
Where's the Enix part come from?
Right, exactly. And so that's how Japanese companies do that. And Capcom is not in any kind of straits where they're like, oh, you know what, we benefit from a merger with Sony. And at the same time, Sony would have to decide like their PlayStation division would benefit from merger. So that wouldn't happen. If you're talking about like, oh, Microsoft's acquiring all these studios, so Sony has to secure something. That I doubt that Capcom would be the one they're securing, right? They would try to secure probably some Western studio, some European studio. Like I would say it was more likely that Sony would buy CD Projekt Red, right?
Yeah, something like that.
Like they would buy a Western studio, but they wouldn't go and buy a Japanese studio.
Yeah, that's not how things work over there.
A good example is actually one example is actually what happened to the guys who created the TurboGrafx 16. I think it's NEC, right?
Yeah.
Well, after the earthquake and all that stuff, that company was in dire straits. It was literally going to fall apart. But what happened is because it was doing so horrible. That is the point when Konami actually bought them. Yeah,
under those circumstances, and also because again, we always get asked like, what Japanese developer is Microsoft going to buy? It's like, listen, that's not going to happen either because they have laws there. But people will point out like, oh, but Bethesda bought what's his face, Shinji Mikami's things. Like that was a brand new studio. It wasn't a legacy studio like Capcom. And also with Capcom, correct me if I'm wrong about this, but I believe they're still a family owned like company, right? They're not like just some faceless entity, right?
Most Japanese studios, most Japanese companies are family owned, with the exception of like Sony.
Yeah,
and
Sony's not.
And I think even portions of Sony still is owned by the original family that created that.
Nintendo? Does Nintendo still have the same?
Yes. In fact, Iwata was the first CEO of Nintendo that wasn't part of the family.
Interesting. Yeah, that's a kind of tradition with Japanese companies. It's family owned, so that's another reason why. Because think about it, you don't want your family being erased effectively. You want to just merge instead. So
it's kind of like the Disney company, where officially, after Roy Disney, like there were still people involved. Still the Disney family was still involved with the company.
Yeah,
like wasn't his daughter still around?
Nowadays his family is not as involved, but after Roy Disney, which was Roy Disney Jr., after him, it didn't seem like there are any more people from the Disney family that are fully involved with the Disney company anymore.
Yeah. By the way, just correction here, because GZDR says Sony needs to secure Capcom since they bought the Evo Championship. If they let Google or Facebook buy Capcom and take away everyone need to listen again. Google or Facebook cannot buy. They can't do it. They can't do. Remember the Western studios gobble each other up all the time. Japanese studios don't function like that, and they have laws that prevent foreigners from buying their studios. Again, let me calm down. We have to explain this every time, and I don't know how many times we need to explain it until people actually finally understand. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen unless Japan changes the laws. It is not happening.
You have a better chance of Sony picking up a studio like Platinum Games.
Yeah.
Than an actual big corporation like Capcom, Square Enix, or any of the other big companies.
Yeah, you need to understand, those entities, and Sega as well, they're not just making video games. They're doing other things as well. So, and these companies would have to also buy the hotel chains, the casinos, all this other stuff,
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I've never seen a situation where a company just decided to buy the gaming arm of a company.
Yeah, that's never happened, Yeah, Sega Sammy, exactly. That's another one. Again, they merge.
Yeah, a lot of them merge, and then sometimes what happens is the names flip around because Namco it was Bandai Namco, and then it was Namco Bandai. Like they switched the names around.
Okay, we got a potential shit talker here. But he goes, there is no law. That's a myth. You're supposed to be a journalist. Dude, we've done our research here. I seriously need to make a video of Chris explaining for 30 minutes the law. This isn't a myth. It's the truth, And I don't understand why people just it's insane. People really don't want to think, they rather just I feel that they should do this. It's like, it's the thing, you can feel all you want. They ain't doing it,
The thing about it is that apparently some people think that a company like Sony is incapable of creating their own IPs. They've been doing it for fucking years. Wake up.
Yeah.
It's fucking Microsoft that went and skipped the line and bought a bunch of fucking studios because their biggest exclusives was fucking money. Because they couldn't do that shit on their own.
Oh, yeah.
Where did fucking Halo come from? They bought that shit. Where did fucking Gears of War come from?
It was
they bought that fucking shit too.
But the thing is that Halo was just nowhere before that. So
no,
it wasn't
Halo,
like Minecraft or anything.
No.
You can't say Marathon.
No.
Marathon was not it.
Halo, Bungie was developing Halo way before.
Yeah, but it wasn't out. It wasn't like Minecraft or anything that was already developed, and everybody knows that it was another company.
It was still something that was created before Microsoft even got fucking involved. It was not created while they were still involved. In fact, Halo was originally going to be on the Mac.
Yeah, but that still didn't come out. It's
number one.
It's not the same. It's not the same.
It is the same because these things were already existed before Microsoft got involved.
No, because Minecraft was already out. People already knew that was another
company.
I'm not
talking about Minecraft.
No, but listen, hear me out. I am, because it was already out on platforms, and then Microsoft bought them and said, now we own it. Now we're the owners. Yeah, that doesn't really count because it was already established. We played fine. But Halo did not come out. It was in development, but it never came out. It wasn't there was an Xbox One, and then they switched it.
It was already existing. None of these things at any point in time, with the exception of a scant few, were actually created while specifically with Microsoft. Like, in other words, Microsoft was in the process of doing it. This was something that was an idea that got transported. It's kind of like the same idea of Sleeping Dogs, where that thing went from a bunch of different places. It was a game that already exists that just essentially got pulled in, and then produced by them.
So, anybody else feel like that? Like, I feel like if it doesn't come out yet, if it's not already out on the platform, then just because it was an idea of development, that doesn't count. You can't take, if you had an idea of a comic,
wasn't an idea. In fact,
it wasn't out.
In fact, Halo was a part of the Apple presentation. So it was something that already existed. It was already something that was already going to be coming out, and they snatched it up. So here's the thing: at this point in time, again, Microsoft has a very scant few amount of things that they've actually full on developed. Crysis is something that they've developed. That's purely Microsoft, and that's purely them that did it. Not something
Crysis?
That they transported from. Wasn't it Crysis something from someone?
Well, that's Crytek that developed it.
No, not Crysis. What is a Crackdown? Crackdown is
Okay,
Crackdown is something that they didn't acquire from another company, or it wasn't in development previous before it came in. So that is one thing that is
Forza. They did that with Forza.
Forza is also one of their own IPs. This is not something that you just bought. So I'm saying this.
Still don't count.
Number one? Why doesn't Sony need to go out and start flashing their money when they are perfectly capable of creating IPs that can stand on their own within their internal studios already?
Because people just want a tit for tat. That's how it works. It's like with everything.
And the thing about it is that they don't think that, again, like, it's just because it's all about the head game of things that you've actually heard of. Okay. Great. We have a bunch of stuff that we've actually heard of, which actually mean a lot. But here's the thing: when all of this is said and done, when all the things have already come out that you've already heard of, now the bigger question is, what about the things that you haven't heard of? What about the new IPs? Because right now, yes, they own the history of Western game development. But now, will these companies be able to develop their own new IPs? And I'm not talking Starfield, because Starfield already existed.
All right, Barry, time this guy out. He's being a fucking fanboy. Metal Gear 98. He's over here insulting people,
Metal Gear 98.
Yeah. Time him out, and if he acts up again, then we just ban him, because we're not standing for that nonsense.
Here's the thing. Listen, dude.
He's like, oh, somebody's just buying dollar store companies, and then he's like, and then he's questioning my integrity as a journalist again. So it's like, all right, bro, you get timed out here.
Dude. Like, just be, I think you need to get out of your own head and literally look at the space, and where there's no agendas here, there's no other things. It's just about the facts and what is happening here. So now the bigger question is, it's like, I don't think that Sony really needs to go and buy out their thing. In fact, if you ever notice the process of when Sony acquisitions happen, they're already sort of keeping it in the family. These are people that have already been publishing games for. They just said, hey, you know what? You might as well just come in the door already. You're already here anyway.
Yeah.
Insomniac and Blue Point, it did a lot of work for them. All these different companies have already done previous work for them. They just said, hey, you know what? Little Big Planet Company, same thing. It's like, hey, you've already been working with us for years, so here, why not?
Yeah. All right. The next question is kind of related to this one, but it's just, this time it's a Western studio. Chris, you kind of mentioned them. This is from, the first question was from one subset. This next one is from Bilbo Swaggins. I like that name. Will Ubisoft join the PlayStation Studios family?
I don't know if this. I mean, Sony is a bigger company than Ubisoft.
Are they?
But are they? I don't know.
We need to look this up.
Sony, yes. If you're talking about just PlayStation, then maybe not. But Sony as a company, yes. Overall, yes. Because of if you think of like as a global company with multiple branches. But here's the thing: is it strategically better to purchase or merge with a company? Maybe Ubisoft seems to like they're in dire straits. Maybe strategically it's better to wait till they are in such bad shape that either you negotiate a buyout at a terribly low price, or you force them to go to auction for their IPs because they're so in the red that they have to, like THQ. You force them into a THQ situation, and you just like go, okay, I want Splinter Cell, right? You just start bidding on IPs instead of like, I don't want, maybe Sony's not interested in Assassin's Creed and Beyond Good and Evil's Dead, but they want the other stuff. Like, oh, I want the Rabbids, I want Splinter Cell, I want all the Tom Clancy license, I want that, right? So you just buy those.
It's an interesting thing because it's like, because in the end, for a lot of these situations, it's the IP that matters the most. Because theoretically, like if we'll flip it around to like the Microsoft side of the thing again. If Microsoft, like let's say for the sake of conversation, one of those companies was going bad, but they had all these IPs that they really wanted to get their hands on, they could have just said, we don't need any of these developers, but what we can take is all of these IPs. Right?
Yeah.
So but basically, Sony buying Ubisoft is way more realistic than them buying Capcom or Square Enix.
Yeah.
Sure.
But
but
by the way,
I want anyone to own them after what they had with Vendetta.
Was it Virgin? Yeah. Was it Virgin? I think.
No.
Vivendi, right?
Vivendi.
Yeah.
That was
the V fucked me up. Yeah,
they're trying to screw over, and then they came out and was like, no, we never want to do that. We just want to be our own company. That's just how we want to roll.
How is Ubisoft doing? Chris, you said they were doing bad, Ubisoft, financially?
I have to look at data on that, but they seem to be having some problems.
It depends. I think it depends on the IP, on which one's selling, because I don't think Valhalla sold that well. But I know, especially even though I wasn't that big a fan of Division 2, that's why they're still creating new content for it. They haven't left it alone, and then they're talking about all the other stuff with it. So the microtransactions is really what's bringing in the money.
And I know they were having some cultural issues too. There were some developers leaving. There was sexual assault allegations against people. There was that kind of stuff. Yes, the same thing Blizzard was happening at Ubisoft. They were having problems like that.
Yeah, I remember that.
I know the Rayman guy left because of some scandals like that.
Yeah,
too.
Michelle Ancel, yeah. And some, I'm not going to say their names, some very prominent people on Twitter at Ubisoft, they're no longer around. So,
plus they don't make games that inspire people anymore. So,
I don't know. Ubisoft is a weird sort of thing. And like the one point you sort of, they still have the reputation of being sort of a fun, creative company, but they also sort of, this sort of getting that weird reputation.
Yeah, I mean, it's like a factory of bloatware. Sometimes, I mean, like a lot of the Assassin's Creed fan base is kind of just gotten tired of it. The Division. I mean, the breaking news from a week ago was Adam saying that the Division 2 isn't all that. So it was like that shit shocked me, and he's the biggest Division fan I know.
Look at the hat.
But
my whole thing is.
He's wearing Division 1 hat.
Division 1. But that's my favorite. And Division 2 has some good aspects to it, but the story just didn't really mesh well with me. I did like Warlords of New York. That's its own separate game, and that really should have just been, even though it was an expansion, should have been its own game. That should have just been a little spin-off, but they wanted to tie it in or whatever. But yeah, they have Heartland that's coming. That's a PvP. That's made by Red Storm, who does all the PvP for Division 1 and 2. And then they said that they have Division 3 to announce. So we'll see. We'll see where that goes.
We shall see.
But I think just as what you were talking about with Assassin's Creed, though, remember they took a break for a few years because the same thing. It was that AC fatigue that they said people were having. So they started, we're going to take time off. We're going to come back, and they did. They came out with going full RPG with the scaling. Origins. Yeah, Origins started, and then we started getting every other year another
Origins, Odyssey, and Valhalla.
Yeah, the big bloated ones.
Yeah, exactly. Valhalla. God, so much grinding work, just constant grinding. Like I don't like any game that's forcing me to grind. I don't like if I'm on a roll and I'm doing what I need to do to progress through the story, and then I hit I'm like level 15, and the next mission is level 30. You know what I mean? I'm like, oh wait, what did I do wrong?
See, for me, that wasn't the issue. It was just like, oh fuck, look at all this stuff on the map, I gotta do it. The thing is, if you do all that, you will be at the appropriate level. Like every time it's funny, every time I did like an actual story mission, I would just kill these guys in like 1 or 2 hits. I was so overpowered, you know. But it's like, oh, gotta go through this fucking entire map, you know.
But I just want what we had back in the day, where story meant story. You can do the story, and then you can do the side missions on the side. It's not mandatory. The side stories is to keep you occupied when you don't feel like doing a campaign, like when GTA 5.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
You didn't have to do. You know, when you're driving by, it's like, oh, I think there's something over. Yeah, fuck it. I'm kind of bored. You turn and go do some side mission. You know, don't force me to do it. It should be stuff that is just optional. And a lot of those games, and with the Ubisoft, and they didn't do it too much in the Division, but they did it nonstop with the Assassin's Creed game. Odyssey definitely did it. Origins started the whole shit, and then Valhalla nonstop. Go raid another missioner. Go raid another missioner. Then you go and raid and be like, oh my god, all the loot's already gone, but all the enemies are here. What the hell? Oh, you gotta wait for that to come back, or you have to go to another. No, forget it. I rage quit.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they're going through that, the Skull and Bones situation, which is I don't know where that hell.
It's also development limbo.
And Beyond Good and Evil 2, what the hell happened to that?
They even had like a working demo for that thing, right?
I remember it was the E3 where Chris went, the first one, 2014. They finally unveiled Beyond Good and Evil. That was 2014.
Oh my god, yes.
You know, like my god, it's crazy.
I mean, did Far Cry 6 do good? I mean, that seems like a franchise that it's just like it just keeps going.
Oh,
I don't even.
Carlos, that thing that went nowhere. Think about it. How hype was that game? It came out and nobody cared.
And it was so hyped up because it got a lot of press. I mean, obviously they got Giancarlo Esposito,
exactly,
and it went that way. And talk about franchises. What the hell is it doing? Is fucking what Watch Dogs?
Yeah, that's another one. Yeah, think Legion. Same deal. No, you know what's funny? When you said Far Cry 6, I had to go to myself like, wait, is that a real game? Oh yeah, Giancarlo. Yeah. Say that. And then it was like, what happened? What happened? Yeah. No, but I had to think about it. I thought Carlos made a mistake. I'm like, 6? What are you talking about?
Yeah.
You know? No, it came out. Yeah, and then the hype for it, nothing. Hey, that's crazy.
And they got the Riders Republic, which I don't
know.
Broke
Point. Don't forget about that.
So I think the things that are keeping them afloat, like, on the really positive, are like Just Dance and probably the Rainbow Six games. And
looks
probably
hold on. By the way, I'm sorry to derail the conversation here, but John Christ, what's going on, man? He just said a comment that threw me off a little bit. Maybe it's where he lives. I got to know where he lives. He goes, holy shit, I made it to an episode early. Easier in the summer when you're on an hour early. We're on the same time. We don't change the time around here. So maybe, but the thing is, like, the whole world has the same time eventually. Like,
nope, that's not true. Hawaii doesn't.
Maybe he lives in Hawaii.
Daylight savings time.
No, Arizona changes. Doesn't change hours. Yeah, there you go.
Oh, there we go. I'm like, yo, Throwdown. We don't change the time. It made me question myself. Like, do we change the time? No, we don't.
There's whole states that are just like, nah, we ain't doing that.
Bless them. Bless them. Why can't we do that shit? Fuck daylight savings.
All the farmers in New York, Tony.
Yeah, exactly. All the farmers. By the way, speaking about that, totally off topic right now, right? Those shows on Discovery that, like, Alaskan Bushmen, shows of that type, right? So on Twitter, I asked, like, who are these shows for? Is it for city people that are, like, curious about this kind of lifestyle, or is it for, like, rural people that live those lifestyles? That people go, Tony, not every rural person lives like that, and then somebody goes like, oh, Tony just proved himself to be the guy who kills a deer and then who kills a cow and then puts it over his truck, and thinks it's a deer. I'm like, I live in New York, bro. I don't even have a vehicle. What are you talking about? I'm like,
you think Tony's gonna see a cow?
Yeah, and I told him, I'm like, dude, the last time I saw a cow was in a petting zoo in America. I used to see them in my grandfather's farm in Dominican Republic, but I'm like, here I saw a cow maybe 30 years ago in a petting zoo. We don't see, the only creatures that you see in New York are squirrels, pigeons, rats, and crackheads. That's all you see around here, you know? So, yeah, I just find that funny. But I was just curious. I'm like, who is this show for? Is it for city people that are just like, how do these people live, you know? And then somebody goes, Tony, that's the stereotype of rural people. We don't live like that. He's like I work for Fortune 500 companies and I live in Ohio. You know.
Well, the whole point with those shows is the extreme life.
Yeah.
When you see these bush people that just go out there to live off the grid. I remember there was a whole family. It was a mother, father, and they had like 4 kids. And they did everything out in Alaska. Same thing with mountain men.
That was what's his face? Les Strauss did that. He had a show called Off the Grid where he essentially just moved out to somewhere and just limited a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, I was just curious. I'm like, do people maybe want to see themselves? I was just curious, you know.
It depends, Tony.
I think it's just about the extremes. It's like okay, it's just like what Adam said. It's just like the extremes.
I think you might be right. Yeah.
It's kind of like having a show about rich people. That's an extreme too.
Yeah, that is very true. And then somebody said that they like watching those shows because he likes, you know, the do-it-yourself type of attitude, right? And then somebody comes in and he's like, I hate these shows because they glamorize that shit. It is not fucking easy, you know? And I'm like, it didn't glamorize it to me. I see that shit. I'm like, every time I see that shit, I'm like, I'm thankful I live in a fucking city. You know? Fucking imagine a bear rolling up where you live. Fuck that. You crazy. You know,
people living out in the desert, running a generator and solar panels, and trying to have to go a few miles to this one area that actually has water they could pump from a well, but then they have to sit it out so it can get clean and shit.
Yeah, but even less crazy stuff. Imagine you're in your home just chilling, watching TV, and you look out your window, just a fucking deer. It's like that's a bug out. Like what the fuck?
I mean, I've seen it.
I've had that in the backyard.
And I mean, here's the thing, like in places that also have that are sort of. Where deers can actually, get to the city. Yeah, you actually see them in the city. Like I've seen deer walking around Philly.
That's wild.
Yeah. Walking around.
You know what was funny, Manny? There's during the lockdowns and stuff when there weren't as many people around, animals like that actually did start getting into big cities around the world. It was kind of interesting, like llamas and shit. Because no one's hunting. They just started rolling up.
That's why you have to do it.
But like for a place like New York, it's a lot more difficult for stuff like that to happen. Because especially for Manhattan and also, because in order for an animal to get over to Manhattan, they have to cross any one of the bridges that get there. And probably as soon as they try to walk across that shit, they get hit by something.
I was 100% expecting Adam to be like, well, funny you mentioned that. I remember one day there was alligators in Staten Island.
I mean, granted, in Staten Island, there's a lot more animals.
Yeah, we've never seen anything. We saw
but there's no. I don't think
possums. No,
yeah,
possums.
Yeah, possums are common out there.
Raccoons or something.
Raccoons, stuff like that.
Yeah. All right, that was a good little diversion. Let's get into more questions. We're still on the sub.
Was I muted?
Yeah, you were.
Again.
No, we were moving on anyway. Another question about Sony purchasings. Kishak, who is joining us in the chat tonight.
What up, Kishak?
What's up, man? By the way, man, he also pointed out the whole Halo and Apple thing as well, Okay, he goes, would Sony purchasing, and let me finish this one, guys, before.
Okay, all right, we're going with it.
Yeah, would Sony purchasing Bungie have the same reaction as Microsoft buying Activision Blizzard, or would people be tepid about it? They would not even be close, dude. Not even close. Like
they're just gonna have one game.
If Sony were to buy Bungie, it wouldn't cost them $70 billion.
No, they're now. I wouldn't say that they're damaged goods. No, but they're nowhere near the amount. If Sony managed to buy them at the point that they left Microsoft, maybe it might be a bigger deal. But it wouldn't have even been that amount of money.
Yeah, but again, I didn't catch which one of you guys said. It's like Sony would be buying a studio that makes one game versus Microsoft buying a studio that makes many games.
Dude, it's a developer versus a publisher.
Yeah, exactly. So it's not even close. Not even in the same ballpark.
Even the same ballpark. But it's not even the same ballpark. But if you want to the optics of it is actually quite interesting.
Oh, it would be interesting for sure.
Because it's like, oh, hey, it's the guys that formerly made Halo.
Yeah. Oh, like among gamers, it would absolutely be big. But I'm talking about objectively, no, it wouldn't be.
No. I mean, among certain gamers, it might. But like, at that point, you'd be like, okay, so I don't get to play the next Destiny.
Yeah.
I don't really care all that much.
Yeah, I'm glad you said that because I'm looking at it more like if you're a gamer that's interested in the workings of the industry, you'll find it interesting. But like,
I mean,
yeah,
there's
I know what you mean,
the
though.
World Star angle of like, oh my God, Sony just bought a studio that Microsoft used to own. But beyond that, man, you ain't losing much.
Yeah, no, it wouldn't be the same thing.
Yeah, it wouldn't be the same thing. It's just the optics of the history. If any, people remember the history of that company.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, but it'd be interesting, but it wouldn't be as impactful. All right, CNBC wouldn't be talking about. Let's just say that. All right,
I need to pick up Ubisoft or some shit like that.
Yeah. All right, next question. This one's appropriate from Black Metal Gamer.
Black.
Why do people think Sony needs to buy studios?
Oh, you mean there you go. We're just rolling right back over that one again. Yeah, why do they need to? Why do people need it? Again, it's like it's that whole we even mentioned it here. It's just that tit for tat sort of deal, right? Well, like, oh, well, what are you buying?
Yeah, that's what it is because it's like again, Sony can't match Microsoft dollar for dollar, so I don't know why people expect them to. And here's the thing. Again, these deals take a long time, right? So it's like people are expecting Sony to announce something next week as a response to Microsoft. No, it doesn't work like that,
I mean, to be honest,
anybody ever think that maybe this was the response?
What do you mean?
I mean, we sat there for the people that are like yelling this the loudest are the people that, they're Sony fans. So like they sat and just watched an entire generation or more go by with just Sony just whipping on Microsoft, just relentlessly beating them. And then Microsoft throws a punch back, like, oh, how's Sony going to respond? I'm like, motherfucker, that was the response.
Yeah, that's right. Microsoft responded. Now you got to give Sony time if they respond,
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I think at this point in time, I don't think Sony is going to respond in the same way that Microsoft did. Like they can't because they just don't have the funding to do that.
Syrian Air Force goes, it didn't take long for Microsoft to buy Activision. It took a while, but here's the thing. That's a special circumstance. Activision was fucked. They had to do something,
Yeah.
Again, remember, Manny, we said this 2 weeks ago. When it went to the Bethesda thing, it was Microsoft going, hey, we want to buy you. So they had to start negotiating. This was Activision going, can you please buy us? That's a different thing.
They approached Microsoft.
Yeah, exactly.
Microsoft to buy them.
Yeah.
Because the thing about it is that this whole shit that's going on is literally ruining the company.
Yeah.
And if it's left to, if
publicly traded company.
Yeah, publicly traded company. And if it's left to continue to do this, I can't, like how many people are talking about Miramax these days? Let's just talk about that one.
Yeah.
So, it could be that sort of the same situation. So rather than going down that road, sinking with the ship, they just said, you know what, let's just, let's do this so that we can get this company to continue to be profitable. And what's the best decision? The best decision is be like, all right, we'll go with Microsoft.
Yeah.
Put it for sale. See if anybody got
exactly.
money
Again,
to pay for it.
because some people go, "Oh, Microsoft's gobbling up the studios." Again, you got to be correct here. Microsoft bought Bethesda. They did obviously buy Activision, but Activision came to them. You think Microsoft was going to go, "No, we already bought Bethesda. We're good." They're not going to say that. It's dumb.
It just looks good for them. That they got. Now they have this. And then again, you can slowly but surely, get rid of the destructive elements of that company, which is a lot of the management, like
the toxic. A related question, Kiss, that goes: would you guys say Activision was too big to fail? No, because obviously they were going to fail unless they sold themselves.
Yeah, if this was allowed to continue, and all this information continued to come out, and all of this, it can seriously damage the brand.
Yeah,
and that's what the the investors don't want.
Mm-hmm.
They want to continue to make money, and when they start seeing the signs of this of all this money not rolling in, they're like, you know what? Maybe we need to do something about this.
Yeah. Otherwise, Activision could have ended up like Pan Am. If you never heard of Pan Am, there's a reason. They were the biggest airplane company on earth for decades. They had that one fucking what was it? It was like a terrorist thing, right? Something like that.
Yeah, it was Flight 103 in Scotland, and
that was it. That was it. That did it.
TV series dedicated to it. Remember, it was on NBC or something called Pan Am, and it was like that whole story. what happened. Because they're gone. A bunch of them are gone.
Yeah,
now.
Pan Am is gone. And remember, if you watch old movies, Pan Am logos everywhere. You know,
if you look at old shots of the skyline of New York, the MetLife building that you always see there,
Pan Am building.
Pan Am building.
That's right. Yeah.
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 A lot of companies. Yeah. No company is a monolith. Like nobody remembers Kodak. Nobody remembers TWA or Pan Am. Or it's just these things.
Kodak is still around, but I don't know what they're doing.
Not in the capacity that.
Yeah. Remember, Kodak was the photo company. Yeah.
Well, that was the same thing even with Sony with Walkmans and TVs. Like that was just what you had. It was definitely, if it wasn't a Sony Walkman or a tape player, it was garbage. Same thing with TVs.
Yeah.
Sort of
Mob Hits just brought up a good point. He goes, there's a difference between Sony and Microsoft. Why did Activision come to them? Because Microsoft has the financial backing to do it. Yeah, Sony. Yeah, exactly, bro. Exactly.
Well, I mean, there's only so many companies that can pay $70 billion for something.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Microsoft.
I remember they weren't the first. Like they went to Facebook.
They went to Facebook. Yeah. All right, now you guys need to fill me in on something. Kishak goes, I know Pan Am because Catch Me If You Can. What is that?
That's the movie with Leonardo DiCaprio where he plays he plays this famous con man who essentially was able to, who essentially just wrote
Spielberg.
Yeah.
He's not the famous con man though.
Okay, so I'm guessing this is a period piece, right?
Yeah, it's a period.
It's in the 60s or something.
Okay, cool. Pan Am was at the zenith of
He became a lawyer, and that was the one thing that
he sold NFTs.
Right, but that was the one thing that they couldn't. They said, well, he actually did it because he did take the bar exam and he passed. And he didn't go to law school or anything, and it was maybe he cheated, but they couldn't prove that. So like, well, I guess
he did it. Well, he was. I mean, here's the thing: that guy was an incredibly smart guy, and he saw a hole in society that he could.
The government hired him to catch forgers and stuff like that because he was such a pro at it.
Yep.
Good stuff. All right.
Sort of like a Kevin Mitnick situation.
Mm-hmm.
Good stuff.
Sounds like an Adam story.
Yeah,
Whoa.
All right, let's move on, man. Next question here. Oh, this is a sponsored question.
Sponsoring.
Yeah, from Eurocar 9, man.
The 9th Eurocar?
Yeah, sponsoring Mob Hits.
You're Eurocar 7.
Yeah, right. Eurocar 7, yo. Okay, between Bethesda and Activision, which was the better buy in terms of longevity of franchises and the strengths and weaknesses of the publisher? So let's look outside of the money. Which actually was a better studio to buy, Bethesda or Activision Blizzard?
Bethesda. Hands down, man.
Yeah, I would go with
Bethesda. There's like been 3 games that have lasted as long as Skyrim, GTA being one of them. Like you don't get that kind of name recognition with many companies.
This one's tough because I'm like, on the one hand you have like Elder Scrolls and Fallout, but on the other hand you have like fucking, like World of Warcraft and shit and Call of Duty.
It's been a long time since that shit's been relevant though. Like it's not currently a.
Duty would be the big one, but I don't.
But you could say the same. Oh no, but Elder Scrolls is still pretty relevant because of the MMO.
I mean, they release it once every decade, but so.
And I think one company is going to need heavy restructuring when Microsoft gets a hold of it.
Bethesda's more like keep doing what you do.
Yeah, Bethesda's fine. It's like Microsoft now has one kid with straight A's, valedictorian, and then the other one's a junkie who's, they just found on the streets. Like, all right,
you gotta go to rehab. They can fix him.
Yeah, one's a fixer upper. One's a fixer upper. Yeah,
well,
go
ahead. It just really depends on what you value the most. If you value the money most, it's definitely Activision.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
If you value the quality of the games, then I think Bethesda takes the cake.
Yeah, Doom, Wolfenstein, like
Elder Scrolls,
Fallout. Yeah, they got a lot of good shit, I mean, and the things like with Activision, I'm speaking of me personally, it's like they have a lot of games that are obviously very popular, but I don't care about any Activision games whatsoever.
For me, I haven't cared about an Activision game in. I can't even remember. I feel like it was back when they were doing Spider-Man.
Yeah,
games.
You think about it. The only games you cared about were licensed games, just like me.
Who did the Stranglehold game? Who's that? That was Activision? No, right?
I don't think so.
One that was based off of Boiling Point.
Yeah, Hard Boiled.
Yeah, Hard Boiled.
Oh, I remember that with China Fat, right? He was
Fat, yeah. I almost feel like
that one. Remember that one? Yeah, I remember we played that in Harlem. That was
that or That or Minority Report, which was a hilarious game. I love that
Man,
game.
you remember Armando?
You know, By the way, ironically, we all love from Software here, but none of us cared for Sekiro, which is an Activision game. You know, which is kind of interesting. We played a little bit until you said, "Fuck this."
Yeah. I did not. That's From Software. I did not chase the platinum because there was too many endings. That's too many weird shit you had to do.
That's going to be an interesting thing. From Software's publishing studio is Activision. So does that
only that game? Namco Bandai.
Yeah, only that game. Yeah,
only that game. Yeah. You're right. You're right. It's Namco Bandai.
Yeah. The only games I care about with Activision is Call of Duty, Tony Hawk, and Diablo because of the whole Blizzard thing. Those are my three.
Yeah, I don't care about a single franchise from Activision. I really don't.
I mean, like, I have a lot of respect for the Diablo series and World of Warcraft, but at no point did I ever. I mean, I played Diablo 1, but at no point did I ever say, hey, I really need to get these games. I don't know. I mean, the only game as far
Blizzard. Oh, sorry.
I mean, as far as Activision games, I mean, like the most, and then there's the nostalgia of playing Pitfall,
Yeah, I mean, Destiny was the only one, but that's not even an Activision game anymore,
What? Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's a Bungie game.
Yeah,
it's a Bungie game now.
But Activision published the first one. They published the first two for a while, and then But yeah, other than that, I'm like, I don't care about Activision. I really don't, and I don't care about Destiny anymore either. So whatever,
Yeah, Blizzard fucked up WoW so bad. I mean, even the hardcore YouTubers went over to Final Fantasy 14. Like a lot, there was a mass exodus from the.
Yeah, and I heard, weren't we talking about it? How essentially the servers got all crazy because all the massive amount of World of Warcraft players.
Yeah,
they literally had what happened to friggin' EverQuest happen to them.
Oh yeah. People jumping ship.
Remember EverQuest? Yeah.
I mean,
that was a Sony franchise, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
That's right.
They released the initial game, and that was the backbones through decades of the game. It's like sometimes you get to a point where it's like you need something new.
Yeah, no, you're right. Mob Hit's trying to fuck me up right now. Apparently, there's a new Wukong video. He says he's gonna post it in the Discord. Thank you for that.
Oh,
we're like new video. Excuse me.
Who is did they got a publisher, right? Those guys?
I don't know. We'll have to look into that.
For a second, I thought he said Wu-Tang.
Yeah, Wu-Tang Clan ain't nothing to fuck with.
Wu-Tang season 3.
Yeah. All right, man. Are we ready for the next question? Yes, we are. All right, another one. By the way, Mob Hits also asked, "What is your favorite video game weapon?" But we've answered that before.
And Adams is the
Snake Eyes G.I. Joe.
Yeah,
chainsaw lantern.
Chainsaw.
No, it's a chainsaw, man.
Oh no, of course a lancer.
Yeah. Okay. Next up, we got one subset again. Will Activision bring back Gun? If so, what studio will work on it? Who knows, bro? Who knows?
Who knows? I mean, it's such a weird. It's so
that was
weird.
A good one too. That was definitely better than Red Dead Revolver.
I love Red Dead Revolver, but yeah. I mean, here's the thing. Like, that's the interesting thing about this acquisition. Now it's actually somebody in charge who's like, you know what? Maybe we can go digging through the toy chest and seeing what we can pull out. So yeah, maybe we'll see a gun or a bunch of those other games that.
Let me see. If anything, that would definitely go into the BC section.
But it'll definitely.
If they don't make a new one, they'll just be like, here, play the old shit again, sucker.
So obviously we can't answer the question, but it would be interesting to see what they bring back. Also, we got a question about Crash and Spyro. I don't care for those either, just being honest.
I mean I never played them when they originally came out.
Yeah, same here. Yeah, no.
But at the same time, it's interesting because again, because Activision bought Universal Games and essentially inherited those franchises, classically PlayStation franchises.
That's right. Yeah.
Well, I mean, also what if if Microsoft could pull back the War for Cybertron guys, that would be so cool. Like if they could, because like how Sony's got Spider-Man. What if they pulled back the War for Cybertron stuff? That would be cool.
That'd be interesting. All right, moving on here. We are up to Mob Hits proper now. All right. Can Microsoft create? Wait, no. Excuse me. Oh no. Whoa, before we move on here, another sponsor question from Mr. Romudeth.
Yeah. Gun is on the BC.
Oh, nice.
Suck up bitches.
So we got a sponsor question here from one subset. Can the latest versions of Battlefield and Call of Duty be salvaged? Okay, I know about Battlefield's problems. What's up with Call of Duty? People are not liking it or something? The new one.
That's what I was saying. It was just they went backwards. There was no progression within Vanguard. It's a campaign. It just felt like the old school idea of just we're just on rails with the campaign and all the issues with the multiplayer and the battle pass system not working right. But Cold War was awesome. You had multiple dialogue choices, multiple endings, different paths you can take. They added all these other new gameplay elements, changing dialogues and stuff, and all that was scrapped with Vanguard. So yeah, I don't worry about it. I have a feeling because the fact that there's multiple studios that work on it, they'll fix it. They'll make another one. Every studio is doing their own version, and this one was kind of whack. So we'll see what happens with the next one.
What about Battlefield? Can that be salvaged?
Battlefield it hasn't been salvaged since fucking back in the day. Since
shit.
Even before that, it's been garbage since Bad Company. Bad Company was the last Battlefield that I liked, and that was a spinoff. And everybody wanted more Bad Company. And I was like, guess what?
But Battlefield 1 did pretty well, you know.
Yeah, but it wasn't on par with if you ask anyone.
Well, it's not. These games are never on par with Call of Duty. But I'm talking about as a game, it was well received. You know,
Call of Duty. I'm talking about Bad Company, which was a Battlefield game. When you ask people what's your favorite Battlefield game, and I know a few people that are really into it.
Yeah,
Bad Company, Bad Company 1 and 2. They love Bad Company.
Yeah, no, but I'm just saying Battlefield 1 was the last successful, critically acclaimed game. Yeah.
5 had its problems.
5 had problems, yeah.
Story, and then 2042 is broken.
It's broken, yeah. No single player either.
Well, no, there's hit detection problems. Yeah. There's collision issues. Leaderboards missing. Yeah, there's a ton of problems.
Man, I still remember Battlefield 5. They pulled the classic. Oh, you don't like it? Don't buy it. Guess what happened? Nobody bought it.
Yeah,
you know.
That's right.
Yeah. How about that? Pro tip: don't say that to your customers because they will listen to you. You know. You know, we saw what happened with G4. We're not going to get into that, but we saw what happened with that. You know, don't tell people that. Don't tell people that. You know, very bad business move. You know,
I feel like the one thing about it is that they need to get to a point. Like in general, I think marketing people need to get to a point where they need to let everybody make their own decisions and don't, try to antagonize people into trying to like what you're making. Number one, nobody needs to like what you make.
Yeah.
Your shit, here's the thing. Once it leaves your hands, people just toss that shit in the garbage. And even if it's good. So just let everybody do what they want with whatever they will do and stop trying to control the message.
Yeah, simple as that. But we're not getting into it, but I agree with Manny 100%. All right. Moving on. Now we got some Mob Hits questions. All right. Can Microsoft create a studio composed only of Japanese developers? He's kind of asking about, the law and stuff. Yeah, of course they can. There's nothing wrong with that. They absolutely can.
Your own studio, go for it.
Yeah, they absolutely can.
So like if they got a bunch of if they pulled over a bunch of well-known Japanese developers, that is perfectly possible because they've done this before. They've done that with the creator with the creator of
what is it called? Blue Dragon?
Yeah, the creator of Final Fantasy.
Hironobu Sakaguchi,
yeah. That was made specifically for Microsoft or for Xbox. So there's no issues with them doing any of that sort of stuff. But I think them trying to pull over any sort of significant IPs or big companies, that would be a problem. But again, like if they wanted to throw some money into fucking Hideo Kojima, they could probably do that.
Yeah. If they wanted like a dream team, they could easily do that. Yeah. Kish that goes would be successful. That's a whole other question. We don't know. But they can do it. The question was can they do it? Yes, they can.
Yeah, I mean, Then you have a question like, with Blue Dragon, it didn't really do anything. I hear it was quite a good game.
What was that Eternals? Was it? Remember, they had that really cool cinematic.
Eternal Sonata.
Eternal Sonata.
Yeah, that looked awesome. But
what was the other one? It was Odyssey, something Odyssey.
Lost Odyssey.
Yeah.
Lost Odyssey, that was it. Where the guy you see him doing a Matrix band when a big sword was coming. Yeah. He's in a battle and all that. That was.
So I mean, yeah, it's perfectly possible that they can essentially try to, like, let's say, who's on the market right now. The guy who created the former team of Japan Studio made their own studio. That's, I can't remember his name. Toyama. He has his own studio right now, and they're working on like a horror Silent Hill sort of game. And he created that game.
Yeah.
So theoretically, Microsoft can be like, all right, we really want to go with you. So how much would it be they could probably do something like that. Essentially, catch all these smaller Japanese developers and start to fund them. So like Itagaki, they're like, hey Itagaki, what you doing? All right, come over here. Stuff like that.
So
everybody's got a price.
Yeah. Also, one thing, because that goes, it might be too many cooks in the kitchen. Well, think about it. We've had precedents for this, right? Chrono Trigger. That's a dream team right there. That was Sakaguchi, the guy from Dragon Quest, and Akira Toriyama. It's like you just had and it worked. But it could also go ahead.
I have a question. So Kojima has Kojima Studios. Yeah, and I think they have. I think an announcement for something is imminent for them. Like they've been teasing a lot of stuff.
Yeah, he's teasing some stuff. He's saying some sort of thing like, testing stuff out or whatever. Who knows?
So are they? Do you think they are still subjugated to just Sony? Obviously, they're doing it on their own volition, but
I don't think they're a Sony studio.
Well, no, they only had that one game. Remember Death Stranding?
Yeah, Death Stranding. I think they're a studio that's
guns for hire.
Yeah, gun for hire. So I think that it definitely is a possibility that he could probably do a Microsoft game. Because again, he's not connected. He's not connected to the thing, and nowhere did they say nowhere did they say that his studio was part of Sony. I think he wants to be a sort of independent.
Yeah, his own thing.
Yeah. Bob Hits goes, what can they get people from Sony Japan Studios? Former Sony, yes, of course. Former. They're former.
I just sold you a company.
Yeah.
Toyama. I think his name is Kenichiro Toyama, creator, director of Silent Hill, and of Gravity Rush, and of Siren, for Sony. They were Japan Studio.
Yeah.
And they made their own studio. In fact, at the previous game, one of the game things that happened last year, they've revealed their new trailer.
Yeah.
So theoretically, Microsoft could pop in and be like, hey, what's that horror game you got?
Yeah.
Well, how much would it be to get that?
Yeah.
Here?
See, they could do that again because it's not an established studio. Again, Bethesda bought the Shinji Mikami studio.
So but the thing about it is that what makes the Shinji Mikami thing, because Shinji Mikami is the guy who is known as the creator of Resident Evil 2 or Resident Evil. So that's why it officially it's good marketing, because it's a sort of a recognizable name within the industry. Yes, he doesn't have the Resident Evil franchise attached to him, but that doesn't mean he doesn't have the reputation that he has earned from that. So again, all these developers that made all these games that you enjoy, that are all floating out in the ether doing their own thing, there is the possibility that Microsoft can come in and be like, hey, how much would you need to make this thing, specifically for us?
Yeah. It's Tango Studio, GameWorks, by the way.
I
keep saying the Shinji Mikami, so I didn't know the name of it.
And then again, they have, I think Ghostwire Tokyo is still a PlayStation exclusive.
Yes, it is. Yes.
So there is, we're not going to see him come into fruition of what he's going to do with Microsoft, until they're done with that game.
Yeah. No, you're right. All right, good stuff there. Moving on here, another mob hits. Oh, this is related to something that's been going on Twitter over the past week.
What are they doing?
These fanboys, because reel it back a little bit. So they released a new video for Horizon Forbidden West, right? IGN, and then somebody took the rappel animation from the last game and the new game, and it's exactly the same, right? No difference whatsoever. So, so obviously you know what happened next with the fanboy. Oh, fucking Sony, lazy ass shit, So we'll get into it. So the question is it quote unquote lazy for studios to reuse animations from previous games, or is it a smart and efficient practice? Manny, you go with this.
Yeah,
it's
fine.
it's a smart and efficient practice. I mean, what, you're gonna call out Uncharted for reusing the same animations because they've been using the same animations for years? So number one, it's like, why are you going to get into the rigmarole of nitpicking animations when they're literally using the same an evolved version of the same engines and all that other stuff? So yeah, no, it's an efficient practice. Why are we going to go reanimate an action that's already existed in the previous game?
Yeah,
does your walk always change every year?
That's what I'm saying. I'm like, listen, there's only a certain ways that the human body could, swing, throw a bow or whatever, or swing off a bridge or whatever. It's like there's only so many ways our bodies mechanically can move, So,
yeah, so I mean, it's such a weird thing to sort of nitpick that the animations are exactly the same. It's like, yeah, you still run the same, you still walk the same, you still jump pretty much the same. So, like, why are we going to get into that? To be honest, the biggest thing what you want to see is that there's new actions that they can do.
Yes.
And that's what we're seeing, right?
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. So, again, that thing got so ridiculous. Even sites started reporting, look what's going on Twitter. I'm like, don't give these guys air. That's what they want.
Yeah.
These are the same idiots that are like going around in Last of Us shooting pottery or whatever, or in God of War trying to chop trees down. I'm like, you're seriously going to go out of your way to shoot tires in Halo in a multiplayer match? Get the fuck out of here! It's stupid.
Come on, guys. Like, number one, if you're gonna start nitpicking things, you don't nitpick vapor, which is what that is.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So every basketball game, every football game, we got to they're using the same animations. Like you can only run with a football a certain amount of ways, guys.
Like how many of those games did they just reuse all the motion capture data that they did from the previous one? In fact, that's one of the things we always used to say. Like, yeah, like with those games, they're pretty much the same game, but with a different roster.
Yeah, GZDR goes up because the Sony fans got on Remedy for Quantum Break non-gun reload animation. Who gives a shit about that too, man? Come on, you stop giving these guys air.
Yeah, it does.
It's all this stuff is born out of fanboyism, all of it.
Yeah, and it's all it is just people tit for tatting each other. Oh, you're doing this. Oh, you're doing this.
Like, I rattled off 5 games off the top of my head that I've seen this on Twitter for. It's stupid. It is dumb. People are just wasting their time. And the fact that this thing got so much traffic that even sites were reporting on it really bugged me,
It's kind of, it's like, what is this, a no news day now? Or we're going to start coming down on people because of fucking Twitter bullshit. Come on, man.
It's insane.
Isn't there real news?
And then the thing is, these guys now they're going to want to do it even more, which is going to go. It's stupid. It's stupid.
It's a vicious cycle.
It really is. It's so dumb. All right, moving on here. Assyrian Air Force, who's also been joining us tonight.
Yo.
All right. What do you make? Oh, this is another one. This is interesting. This is not fanboy. I had to look into it. I'm like, is this real? I thought it was fake as fuck. Okay. What do you think, or what do you make of retailers reportedly placing signs on PlayStation products telling customers not to buy PlayStation consoles because of the Microsoft acquisition? Apparently, this happened in France. Some retailer, like a brick and mortar store, had signs going, "Hey, be warned! If you buy a PlayStation, you're not going to play Call of Duty on it." But some people have questioned that, like saying that shit looked like the image looked doctored or whatever, so it could be fake. So I don't even know if we want to.
Did they mention the actual name of the store? Because then people could just call them.
Yeah, that's the thing. When they called them, like they weren't able to find them and something they couldn't find. So I'm just bringing this up just BS. Because I thought, I kind of call BS on this, to be honest.
Dude, that could just be a fanboy putting a sheet of paper on the display and taking a picture.
Yeah,
that's true. On the front, took a picture and then took the sign down and ran off.
Yeah, so the reason I'm bringing this question up is just because I find that interesting, but I'm not giving this any credence. I think this is all nonsense. I think it's BS, to be honest.
Yeah, I don't think. I mean, I think it's somebody trying to pull a fast one again.
Yeah, that's what I think.
An attempt to try to win the vapor console war.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so we're not going to give this anymore. It sounds silly to me. All right.
Yeah.
All right. The last two questions of the night. They're not related to the Activision thing at all.
Oh, whoa. What's hell is frozen over? What's going on here?
Oh, by the way, real quick, Syrian Air Force did ask us what long dormant places and franchise we want to see resurrected, but we've answered that in the past. Okay, so the last questions of the night are from Cade Antonio. So first one is, and they're both about Steam Deck. All right.
Oh,
so
you know about that?
Yes. Okay. Is it okay to hold off on buying a Steam Deck until the usual early adopter issues get ironed out? Of course. Wait until you're ready, bro.
Always.
Wait until you're ready.
Always.
No one's forcing you to buy that shit.
Because we know it's not going to be all sunshine and rainbows with this. There's going to be something that's fucked up. There always is.
Listen, and there's going to be 6 Steam Decks on Throwdown, so one of ours is probably going to be fucked up in some way.
One of those is going to be bricked, or some shit's we're going to have dead pixels. It's going to be something.
I mean, while you guys are probably right, I got to say, the hardware I've gotten from Steam has been, like, the highest quality shit I've gotten.
Yeah.
They make solid stuff so far.
That's good to know. But, yeah, don't feel obligated to buy it now. Wait. You're good, It is okay. Don't let FOMO get you, man. You're all right.
That FOMO.
Fear of missing out. You're good. Let us on Throwdown test it for you, man.
Exactly.
Yeah, see which one. Take bets on which one of us is gonna have the bricked version.
Who's gonna have the lemon?
Who's gonna have
do we really have to ask?
No, Brett, I'm looking at you. Right.
Well, the fact that let's talk about the real fear. The real fear is the fucking Joy-Con drift, we'll call it. Just the drifting. I've had that on multiple controllers, not just a Joy-Con, but just multiple controllers. My Xbox One, a PlayStation One, it was the right stick as opposed to the left. So, shit, imagine if that happens on there. If that's attached. There's nothing you could do. Yes, shit, just whatever. You're done.
Yeah. All right.
Sorry.
Let's do listen. The power rankings here is Brett number 1. Well, no, actually, no, never mind. No.
We got a tie.
It's Adam number 1. Because this isn't a Sony product, so Brett is
almost that's right.
Clear.
Yeah. This is true.
Brett has the Sony curse.
Yeah.
Brett has the Sony curse. Adam has the Adam problems. Then it's Brett. Brett's number 2. Then it's Chris because his latest electronic purchase did come. Yep.
Oh
and then I think it's a tie for last.
Well, let me ask.
Yeah, for me and you, because Carlos, I think me and you are due for it, bro.
We are due for a bad experience.
Yeah, because 99% of the time when I buy an electronic, everything's fine. There's no problem, So I think it's coming. It's like an asteroid. It's not a matter if, it's but when.
So they're trying to figure if he's bought a 99 electronic devices since his last failure.
Yeah, like, fuck, here we go. But maybe it's 1,000,001 though. Then we'll be all right.
We're testing fate here.
Yeah, right. All right, man. And the last question of the night, also from Cade Antonio. All right. Will Steam Deck be a one-off release like the Steam controller? He goes, I still kick myself for not buying that controller.
I think they actually said if it sells.
I think if it sells, it's going to be all right,
Yeah. It's all about the numbers. If they can sell a good amount and there's an interest, then it becomes readily available that you can go to a Best Buy or a GameStop and pick one up as opposed to just ordering it direct. And we'll see another version. Why not?
That's a good question. I didn't even think about that because I just assumed these are just going to be sold online.
Well, I mean, they've already said so far that if as they're seeing things now, there shouldn't be only one version of the Steam Deck, that it'll be kind of an ongoing thing. But that's guessing now.
Yeah. So hopefully it'll stick around, because this seems like again, this is the console we all wanted. We all wanted this to be, So I just put up a Switch for you guys listening. Like this is what we wanted from the Switch. So hopefully this thing sticks around for many, many years. Kishak goes, how bad were the Steam Machine consoles? I don't think they were bad. It's just that it was so many SKUs. It was confusing. It
was open to so many different companies, and everybody was making their own. Somewhere on the lower end for like 300 or 400, somewhere in the thousands, like a full PC.
Yeah, this is all made by Valve. Standard. That's the key difference. There are no million versions of this thing. There's only 3 versions, all made by one company.
Yeah.
So that confusion won't exist.
Yeah, majority of the time. Most of the what's the difference is the internal memory size, and the last one I think has that anti-glare screen.
Yeah.
Besides that, all the internal video, the performance, all that's the same on all three of them.
Swoled. What's going on, Ace Ally? He goes, Swoled released later this year, maybe. I think, Chris, didn't we agree that the 4K is not coming now or something like that? Or what are we saying about the Switch 4K? Is it going to come or not?
I mean, it's going to come. I don't know when. Yeah. I mean, they obviously planned for it. It just...
Why? What do you...
They can't do it. All these games will look like crap.
No, but I mean,
some terrible graphics and better detail.
No. We don't need to see that shit.
No, I bought that adapter for my Switch, so I'm good. I don't need that shit.
Unless it comes with it, and they won't. So then everybody else is asked out. It's gonna look like shit. No.
Is it just gonna output 720p to your 4K? Is that like
what's
gonna happen?
It's gonna try to upscale it and look like.
Well, it's gonna upscale. Yeah, it's gonna upscale it probably.
Yeah, but again, I bought this thing for like $100. This Switch that makes it look good, on 4K. So I'm like, I'm okay,
But does it look good?
Yeah, but actually compared, when you turn that Switch off, you're like, ugh,
No, not compared. I'm saying just does it objectively look good? Are you satisfied with the way that it looks?
Yes, I am. It's. I'm going to say this, Brett, because I know what you're asking here. It's passable.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, and that's good enough for me because before it was not passable on my 4K at all. It's passable.
I treat my shit like it's just a standalone handheld.
That's I'm not fucking with no. Yeah.
No, there's no reason.
Right.
I just put mine away ever since I ordered the Steam Deck.
Oh, there you go.
I'm going to buy these games for like $5-10 a piece.
That's right.
On a regular day. That's not even on a Steam sale. Like, why the fuck am I going to pay $45 for Binding of Isaac or some shit like that?
or that insane amount of money that they're charging for the Kingdom Hearts collection, which is all fucking stream, and it doesn't even look fucking good.
Are the Kingdom Hearts games on PC, by the way?
No, I don't know.
I don't think they are.
Think so.
So yeah, you have to get
That's
it.
Probably why they do it. Got that market.
They're on PlayStation and Xbox though. So
yeah, but you can't play them on your Steam Deck.
Or buy Dying Light 2, a better version, and one that you can actually play on the system.
Don't get that Switch version of Dying Light 2. Don't do that.
Yeah,
I can't believe they're even trying to put that shit out.
It's only cloud, but that's the thing. It's on the cloud. They can't put it on that system. It won't run. So it has to go play a remote.
And it's also not Nintendo doing it. It's actually this external company that's converting them. But a lot of the games that are on there, they're all glitchy as fuck.
Yeah, over at the Coalition, we did 2 reviews of 2 games and both have run like crap. So,
like the new Guardians game has all kinds of visual glitches that not even beyond just the resolution bullshit.
Yeah, just they haven't figured it out. It's not properly optimized. It's not like on Game Pass. You go to stream those games, doesn't matter what device. I haven't had any issues.
It's a small company. It's a small company that's doing these conversions too. How many people? The question is like, how many people are actually like chomping at the bit? Like, oh man, I really want to play the Guardians of the Galaxy game, or hey, I really love Kingdom Hearts. I want to play the stream version of it. Like,
is that guy still alive?
Wait, what guy? What guy?
The Police Academy guy.
Yeah, I believe he is.
Bobcat Goldthwait.
Bobcat. Hey guys.
He's still around.
There's people that just like they pick just like anything. Like we have.
When you said the Police Academy guy, I thought you were talking about the black dude, just the noises.
Oh yeah.
Oh no.
He was on my family. They watch America's Got Talent, and he popped up on there.
Yeah, I know he's alive. I don't know about Bobcat Goldthwait though.
Yeah, Bobcat Goldthwait, he's alive.
Yeah.
Last movie I saw him was Scrooged.
Imagine if you get Bobcat Goldthwait. This must have happened in the 80s at some point. Bobcat Goldthwait and Gilbert Gottfried and something together.
That must be insufferable.
Jeez.
I bet that guy's doing those cameo things.
I remember this one episode.
No, I know you can get Gilbert Gottfried to do one.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, I remember this one episode of Married with Children. They were on a cruise ship that sank, and then they have a shot of Al. It's like a close up shot. He's like, oh God, I can't say, oh God. And Peggy's like, Al, we've only been on this lifeboat for 2 minutes. Like, I know, but I'm sitting next to Gilbert Gottfried. Like, what?
What's going on here?
What's going on? Why am I married with children?
Watching Ninja Turtles, and he was one of the voice. I think he's voiced a Krang or something like that. Funny.
That's where money can take you these days.
It's surprising he didn't, people didn't commit suicide watching Aladdin, because wasn't he the only one from the movie that made it to the TV show,
Yeah.
He's
the fucking bird.
Oh, no, him and Aladdin No, the main cast of Aladdin, actually, the only one that didn't make it was the genie,
because it was Homer, right, in the TV show?
Yeah, it was Homer. Yeah, the guy, Homer is doing an impression of him.
Yeah.
And the genie!
Dope! All right, man. We are done here. So do we have anything to plug?
Nah, no plugs for me, man.
No plugs. Not yet.
Oh, I got a plug.
When you plugging?
I'm plugging. Plug. All right. So on Tuesday, the New York Video Game Critics Circle will be having the annual Game of the Year awards, and I was a presenter this year. As one of the newest members. I can't tell you what I did, but it was one of the bigger categories. I'll tell you that.
Nice. Did you
if not the biggest?
Did you read one of those lousy scripts? Like sometimes when you walk down the street, you see something, and then it's the most greatest game that you've ever played. And here are presenters.
Yeah. Well, I can't tell you this, though. Thankfully, me and the presenters I'm with, we wrote our own script, so we're good. So it's good to go. So yeah, what you hear is coming out of our mouths. We wrote that stuff.
So none of that talking head stuff.
None of that. Yeah, well, think about it. It's like you got a bunch of writers. They can write their own shit.
Neil Druckmann obviously didn't write whatever he wrote. Whatever he was saying on the Game Awards.
Is he a writer though?
I mean, he is.
Yeah, I know. I'm fucking around.
According to popular belief, he might be a writer.
Yeah. So yeah, So I believe that it's gonna be. I'll tell you what time this is going on. But it's definitely on Tuesday, February the 1st, at 8 p.m. Eastern on Twitch. So hit up NYVGCC on Twitch. It'll be good stuff. Obviously, it was all canned. We were planning or hoping to do it live, like a live show, but because of the Rona and all that stuff, couldn't do it. I did go to the one before the Rona. That was a good one. I wasn't presenter. I was just in the audience, and also where I met Gene Park for the first time, which is very cool.
Where you thought he was younger than you.
Yeah, I thought he was older than me.
Oh, he's older than you. There you go.
That was hilarious. Because I was like, yo, man.
Has he gotten you back yet?
No, not yet. Because I thought Gene Park was like 10 years older than me and shit. So I'll tell the story real quick because we still got a little bit of time. So I'm seeing Gene Park, on Twitter and stuff. I'm like, oh, this guy's been doing this gaming thing forever, man. That's an inspiration, And I'm being sincere about that, So I tell him this. He didn't say, because he didn't know how, because, look at me, I look fucking young, So I told him that, like, it's really cool to see an older dude doing this gaming stuff, man. It gives me a lot of inspiration. I'm like, oh, that's awesome, right? Talk on Twitter or whatever. Then he started posting some pictures of him at E3. He's like, oh, this is me when I was 21 years old at E3 2002. And I was like, wait a minute. You were 21 in 2002? I was 22. What? I'm older than him. I'm older than him by like 8 months or something like that, hilarious. So he's like,
he broke the Asian stereotype.
Yeah, because let's just be real here. You Asian people, they kind of look super young forever, and then they get old. Like he just said, he said, it's like, yeah, I got gray hair really young, But yeah, that's straight. I'm like, hold on, 21 in 2002, that doesn't match up. You're supposed, Oh,
hey,
man.
Gene, you lying about your age. You lying.
You lying. But yeah, Gene Park, good peoples, man. One of my favorite journalists for sure. He's been taking it a little easy off Twitter because he got the Rona, the long Rona, the one that just stays with you,
Yeah, that's yeah. It can. There's some people have gotten really hit hard with that thing.
Yeah. So he's just been laying low, but he pops up every once in a while. He's like, I'm kind of glad I don't have to be on Twitter right now.
No, I mean, to be honest, it's actually pretty freeing to not be attached to the cord, man.
Yeah. No, yesterday, you know what I did? I think I may start doing this every weekend. I got up, I turned my computer off. I'm like, that's it. Nope.
Yeah. That's the thing.
I turn it off. I'm like, fuck it, you know, because I don't do that. I just normally just have my PC on. I turn it off. I'm like, fuck it, I'm playing games, you know.
The power to here's the thing. The power to walk a fucking way from this shit.
Yeah.
Well, it's more like walking away from social media. You really like talking and doing all those things. You can still have your computer on. You just don't have to interact.
Yeah. No, don't get me wrong. I still tweet it, but it's easier for me to tweet from my desktop than it is from my phone, you know. But yeah, so I'll probably start doing that more often. Just weekend starts, turn the PC off, you know.
It's great.
Okay. So that means we gotta text you. We gotta text you through the phone now.
Yeah, what happened? Yeah, I hear two other guys jumping in here. Brett, you first.
So I'll just say, man, I learned a while ago that, especially when it's your job, detaching from that shit is fucking beautiful.
Yes, indeed. Indeed.
You know me, I won't respond to your text for 2 hours to 2 days.
I wish
I'm not gonna look at my phone.
I wish you a happy birthday, man. You didn't say shit. It's all right, man. It's all right.
You know what he was?
Because Brett, all the other guys they're on the Twitter chat going happy birthday. But I'm like, fuck, I'm gonna text this guy. You know.
Brett, you know, we all know that Brett will get to it when he gets to us.
You'll get to it.
Yep. Yeah. You know what I did for my birthday? I put my phone down. Didn't even bother looking at it.
That's good. That's good. You know what I did on your birthday, Brent?
What's that?
Because my boy Mike, you know, his birthday's the same as yours. We went to the steakhouse. It was good, man. So I like to believe you were there in spirit.
The same
for steak,
same one
absolutely.
The same one usually goes.
No, we went to this one steakhouse. It was like 20 miles from here. I don't know what the fuck Mike was thinking. This is how far off this thing was. Across the street, there was a saddlery. You know what that is? That's where you buy horse saddles.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. New York
is it Long Island or
it was in Long Island. Yeah.
It's right across from the salad. The
oh, by the way,
which is across the street from the haberdashery.
Yeah. And this is how you know you're in the red part of New York. No mask mandates whatsoever. You know, as a matter of fact, you go in with the mask, they'll probably look at you funny, like, "What the fuck are you doing?" You know. So it's one of those deals. When you live in the city, if you drive 30 miles in any direction, you will end up in a totally different political landscape.
That's any city, bro.
Yeah, that is true. Very interesting because New York State, the actual state itself, red as fuck. You know, Long Island is red, Staten Island is red, but the four boroughs, Staten Island don't count. You know, it's all blue. Yeah, man. Okay, that's it. Shout out to everybody in the chat, for joining us as always.
Yo.
I'll even give a shout out to that asshole from earlier, At least he showed up.
Thanks for showing up.
Yeah, right.
But thanks for showing up, but fuck you for attacking our fans, buddy.
Yeah, I know. We don't like that. We don't like
any of that shit. Don't mess with our people, son.
That's where we draw the line, All right. So anyway, make sure you follow Throwdown on Twitch and the Twitter. And Discord, where it's always popping. It doesn't matter if it's a holiday, a slow day, we will always be there popping off, especially Mob Hits.
Mob Hits has phases. I noticed this.
Oh,
because I'm on Discord more for some work stuff, and it seems like at like 5 o'clock or something like it goes boop, 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 and then it stops.
5 p.m.
Yeah, like around 5 p.m.
My man he's getting off of work and shit.
Yeah, it seems like that's the point where it just starts to lay it in, and then all of a sudden it stops.
Yeah. What is he, Ken from Visitors? Like,
yeah, that's what the mob hits is dropping those news stories like fucking Kenshiro drops
the bad guys,
Yeah, right.
Oh man. And yeah, throw it on, any podcast app on the planet, Spotify, Apple, all that. We are on it. Amazon as well, throwdownshow.com to listen to the past episodes in MP3 form. And we're also on YouTube. And if you are watching us on YouTube and enjoying the content, hopefully I got the video up on time. Hit like, subscribe, and hit the bell. Sometimes we're in there too. Sometimes we lurk.
Yeah, I usually lurk and hang out at the thing. If you ever bother to turn on the little thing on the side, you'll see me go yo, and then nobody says nothing.
Yeah. All right, man. So that's links, all that stuff down below. Once again, I was your host Tony Polanco, and tonight I was joined by Emilio Lopez.
See you next time,
Chris Seeley.
Hey, take care, everyone.
Carlos Romero.
Make sure to watch Attack on Titan and Demon Slayer, man. It's just crazy.
Adam Vale.
Good week, everybody.
And Brett Murdoch.
Peace.
All right, people. You already know. Later.